Hi, Ade. Hi.
Hello,
Can you see
Laura.
me? Hi. It's
Hi.
embarrassing just to see my face popping up really big today.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much for being with us for the first Hive session, actually. I'm really looking forward to our conversation. I know we've only got limited amount of time.
Yeah.
Um, but I guess the first question I wanted to ask is, we've got these four domains that we're looking at in Hive: sleep, relax, eat, and exercise.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering whether you could say a little bit about the relationship between all those four and what they mean when it comes to well-being.
Yeah. Look, I think from where I come from, which is the medical background, but of course, I'm a generalist, so I'm a GP. So I have to consider the whole person when I'm looking at what's going on with somebody. And, we see these themes coming up over and over again: sleep, eating, so the nutrition side of things, where people want to achieve within that, the physical well-being, which has obviously been a really big thing since lockdown and people's routines changing. Um, and also the relaxation, which is sadly something that I need to really work on myself, because relaxing is so important. But what I can see with those four sort of core domains is that these are modifiable factors in our lives. These are things that we can work on and we can change, and we can achieve what we want to achieve, or at least set realistic goals within those domains, and how they all closely interact with each other. So when I'm treating patients and I'm talking to patients, it's so clear to me that social, mental well-being, emotional well-being, and physical well-being are so closely intertwined and really complex. We're all really complex beings, but these aspects are, although they could be really complicated in themselves, and I see lots of patients with insomnia. It can be very difficult to help people better their sleep, but there is ways that we can modify this. And there's so many things going on in this world right now that we have no control over, that we can't really make a big impact, for ourselves on. But these are things we can work on. So I think, it's brilliant just listening to the beginning of this program, because this peer-to-peer support can really be a way that can facilitate us creating realistic, achievable, really specific goals within these domains. And this will better our well-being, our mental well-being, physical well-being, emotional, and hopefully the social well-being as well.
Mm, mm. Now, there might be some people in the audience who are thinking, all those four domains are really, really important. I want to do all four, but
Yeah.
they're telling me to pick one. Like, how do people know which one to pick?
It's so hard, isn't it? And I think a lot of it, will lead into something else. But, I suppose it's going to be this process of self-reflection and trying to understand what is a priority. And for me, if I had to pick one, I've already said it, I would have to pick relaxation, because it's something that I'm not very good at, in terms of setting that time aside. But I suppose it's like that personal journey, and there's no right or wrong answer. This is something I always share with my patients, that with a lot of these aspects, there's no right or wrong answer. And one thing may lead to another. So, exercise, increasing the amount of exercise that you do, or the type, or just going on a discovery to find the right activity for you, that will hopefully lead to many other things, because they're all closely intertwined. It will probably mean that you want to eat better, or you want to pay more attention to how you nourish your body and your mind, but also it will have an impact on sleep, and it will also help you to relax, because we know that there's so many hormones released when you exercise that can help you feel relaxed and help boost your mental well-being as well.
Mm,
So
mm.
I don't think there's a way that you can necessarily choose, but choosing one may well lead to benefits in the other areas.
Yeah, girl, I really like that actually. Now, there's one thing about myself is, I get very excited about certain things, and at the beginning of it, I'm really, really committed, really excited, and halfway through, I'm thinking, oh my God. So, what tips could you suggest to people to actually help keep them on track during this whole process?
Yeah, and look, I think that's also part of that personal journey, and there will probably be rocky periods where you'll think, well, I can't do it, or this has happened and now my circumstances have changed and that's influencing how I feel about the process or how I feel that my progress is going. And I think the realistic thing is to remember that there may be periods where you feel it's more difficult or that you're taking a couple of steps back, but you can go forwards, you can keep going. And what I love about the peer-to-peer support is helping keep people accountable for their journeys and creating that relationship. And that really motivates people, but also staying realistic and staying true to your goal. And I think in that goal setting period, it's really important to just consider what that goal is, how specific it is, and make sure it's achievable. Because I know that it's not achievable for me to, let's say I use exercise, I'm exercising maybe once or twice a week. And for me, I'm comfortable with that at the moment. But if I wanted to go back to exercising 5 times a week like I did before I had kids, I think that would be difficult for me to achieve, and therefore it wouldn't be realistic. So just to really have that conversation with yourself, the honest conversation with yourself, or if you can with somebody else in the group, to say, well, is that achievable? And don't set that goal too high. I would love to have 12 hours sleep a night, a really good quality sleep as well, but it's not going to happen. And I think just actually putting it into perspective, making it specific, achievable and realistic, and working towards that, but holding people accountable. I love the idea that Rochelle shared about taking pictures. That visual motivates people as well.
Yeah. One final question. Are there any pearls of wisdom that you would like to offer? Maybe something I've not asked you that you'd like to just offer to people who are with us tonight?
That's a very difficult question. I suppose, look, I from what I see, and it's more going back to what we've all been through this last year, and hopefully we've got some good news around the corner with restrictions, and I've been involved in the whole COVID experience in my practice and rolling out the vaccines, and we're seeing that hope is on the horizon. It's already there, but I think when we're going into these groups where everybody's going to have had a really individual experience, and you may relate to something that somebody else is talking about, you might not at all. But just to remember that this past year, we've all been through something really big, however it's hit us. And I love this analogy, and I think we talked about it when we were discussing it earlier, Ade, was that, the same storm, different boats, but we're weathering this same storm, but actually we're all in different boats. Not only are we in different boats, but within each boat, we've got different provisions, some boats are bigger than others, some boats we've all got life jackets, some of them we haven't, and the conditions are all different. And just to remember that every person's got that individual journey, but hopefully with this type of program, we're all working towards the same goal, which is improving our lives, improving our mental, physical, emotional, social well-being, and achieving goals along the way.
Great, thank you. I know we've got a couple of questions in the Q&A section. Rochelle.
Yes, hello. Hi, Dr. David. Thank you.
Hi.
We can let you talk forever. Well, you are a doctor and you earned it.
Right.
You, Laura. We have a bunch of questions. Of course, we have more than we could possibly answer, but I've been asking people to vote on them in the side. So what the top voted question, I think, is something we probably all ask, which is watching TV considered relaxation, or should it be an intentional activity that refuels you, like meditation or painting? Does TV count?
Yeah, look, I think it's such a hard question, isn't it? But actually, relaxation, I think, I've had this conversation with my friend who's a psychologist recently as well. And relaxation means so different things to different people, and it's what it brings to you. So like if I've had a really terribly hard day at work and I just want to sort of switch off, I might watch TV. I will get some relaxation from that, because one, it's a distraction and it's taking my mind off everything that's happened to me. But I don't think it necessarily brings me to a sort of spiritual level or, another level which I'm gaining that much from. But it depends where you are, I suppose, in the process of what you want to achieve. So for me, mindfulness is not part of my life, but I know it's a really, really big part of a lot of other people's lives. And I think we just have to be respectful of what things mean to different people, and really happy to, you know, hear how people are achieving things. And if it makes you feel good, it makes you feel like you're adding another dimension to your life, really, and it's bringing you that pleasure and that period of time where you can take time away from the stresses in your life, that's how I would say you can benefit from relaxation. Relaxation could be exercise. You know, for me, actually, exercise is so important for my mental well-being, and it takes me to another level where I feel really good and I feel really relaxed. So I think just relaxation is such a broad term, and it can mean anything, and for some purposes TV might well be the answer.
I think that's a really safe answer for most people as well. Thank you. No, it's really well described. I'm going to do one more question, even though we're slightly cheeky on your time, because there is a lot. How can I be sure that I'm getting quality sleep? And qualities in inverted commas as well. So I guess that notion that people know that sleep is actually, you know, can be quantifiable in terms of what it brings us. If you want to talk about that for a moment. So.
You know, we do actually do a lot of work on sleep with my business, but of course I'm seeing people all the time with sleep issues in particular at the moment. And I think we need to just sort of redefine this 8-hour period, when we know that not all adults need 8 hours of sleep, and we might be sort of working towards unrealistic goals if we think that this golden 8 hours, if I get 8 hours and I'll have great energy and I'll be able to perform well and I'll feel happy and amazing. It's not always like that. And so I suppose the short answer is, you know, if you feel well rested in the morning and energized to some degree, of course, everyone feels a bit groggy when they wake up. But, you know, if you feel ready to take on the day, you've probably had good quality sleep. Everybody wakes up during their sleep, you know, due to the sleep cycles. So nobody completely, you know, sleeps all the way through the night. And for some people, going to bed, you know, at 1 o'clock in the morning and waking up at 6 might be enough. And for some people, they might need a lot more than that to have good quality sleep, which I would define as really being able to feel good and take on the day, and not feel completely exhausted. And the thing is, you know, in medicine, is that it's so multifactorial. So being tired is not always related to our sleep. There may be other physical issues going on, or deficiencies, or it could be mental health issues that are affecting our energy levels. So, you know, it's quite complex. But if you feel good after a night's sleep, then I'd say you're onto a winning one.
I really like that. I really like that it's a litmus test from yourself about connecting with your own body as much as, you know, some specific kind of quantifier. Thank you so much. We are totally out of time, so I'm going to let Ade give you a fond farewell.
Yeah, thank you so much, Laura. Very informative.
Pleasure.
I got a lot from that. I could listen to you for the rest of the session. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. Enjoy the rest of the evening.
Pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.